it's always good when we're all together in the same room because that means we just watched a doozy of a film. We saw Daniel's favorite film, Black Adam.
What a way to end October.
Oh, yeah.
First things first, we're the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased, except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
And I'm The Rock's biggest fan.
And as we said, we just saw Black Adam, and it's the day after it came out theatrically, and it was very empty theater. I don't know what kind of box office projections there are for it, but that's not a good sign when the whole front of the theater is empty. Except maybe like one guy who kept on getting up.
Pretty close to a Saturday night, I mean. Anyway,
so I, for one, did not like the movie. It was okay, I guess. If I were to give it a grade numerically, it'd be a solid 50 out of 100. It was okay.
See, like, when most people say it's okay, they kind of, like, okay to, like, good. To me, this is okay to bad. Like, you say 50, to me it's like a 45. Like, you're not, you know, not to nitpick here, but you're not...
I think you should be a little more specific. I think I'd give it like a 43%. But I found it was very, like, it's watchable. To me, it was boring and mind-numbingly dumb, mixed in some specific parts, especially the dialogue. And I guess the bigger moments of the film were cringe, pretty cringy. More the dialogue.
We did definitely feel a little bit of that Rock's, you know, vanity project, power fantasy, where nobody can hurt him and all that fun stuff. Probably counting the punches against them.
Yeah. Weird how the superhero he wants to play is the basically the counterpart to Superman.
Sam's supposed to be.
So this film is not doing too well critically. I just looked it up. Has a 41%.
Oh.
Keeps dropping.
Tomatoes.
All right.
Has a 41% on Metacritic. But the outlier is IMDb, and it has a 7.2 on IMDb, which is pretty good. And
those Pebbles, man, they're loyal.
Well, especially when you pay them the right amount.
So I'm not going to pretend like I know a lot about DC, but I had no idea who any of these characters were. And the movie introduces a lot of characters that makes you think, these guys would have been useful in previous movies.
Especially if they work for Amanda Waller. Like, where were they for the Suicide Squad? You couldn't just have them clean it up?
Or Steppenwolf.
Yeah, so they introduce Hawkman.
Yeah,
right?
okay, Hawkman.
Hawkman. Dr. Fate.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Molecular Man, whoever that guy is.
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher. I don't know the girl's name.
Cyclone.
Cyclone, okay. I don't know where I was going with that. I just didn't know who these characters were. And I guess, you know what? Let's talk about positives first before we go into negatives. And I thought Pierce Brosnan was the best part of the movie.
Easily.
Yeah, easily.
Should have been a Dr. Fate movie.
Yeah.
And spoilers, it's a shame they killed him off because I was hoping he would stick around because it looked like he was having fun. He looked like he was enjoying himself.
Yeah.
Being the proper English superhero.
He's not. He's Irish. It would have been funny.
He's English in the movie, right?
Whatever.
Was he?
Sounded English.
I thought it sounded like he was more like struggling with the like American accent.
No. It was very funny to me when you could tell it was him and it was like a body double. Like, okay, Pierce Brosnan was on set these days, and every time else it just had like some stuntman with the mask on.
Yeah.
How do you? I guess it's a CGI helmet because like, you can't see it.
I did read that he wore like a mocap.
Pierce Brosnan?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he was actually there most of the time?
Like he was wearing like, you know, like what Iron Man, like when they do the suit and stuff, so like, I mean, if he was, you know, flying around and stuff, good for him at his age.
Right?
Especially for his age, I mean.
We know The Rock can fly around, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no CGI for that.
Other than that, I mean, I guess the action is somewhat entertaining. There's a lot of
slow-mo.
I said somewhat. You're shaking your head no.
I disagree. I didn't think any of the action was...
I think this movie is action overload, so if you like watching people get hurled around and killed in this movie, I think you'll enjoy it just on that merit alone. Because boy, do they show such. This is like the most violent PG-13 movie I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's pretty violent. He electrocutes somebody to death, and you see like their skin melt away. Then he like snaps the spine, and the skull falls off.
The one guy he hurled at the other intergang agents.
Yeah.
He still had the hand.
Yeah,
His body
That
just
like
went, but the arm. Yeah, I was like.
Well, I saw that they had to. It was going to be rated R, but they keep editing down
They
some of
edited
these
it down
death
5
scenes.
times, I think, to
Yeah,
the MPAA.
Which I think is stupid. Like, why even have this? You know your movie's going to be PG-13. Why push the boundary?
Or like, what was it? When he was flying, remember he was trying to catch the motorcycles, and he pulls the one guy and just drops him in the road, and then he gets run over by a car. They really went out of their way.
Which usually I find funny, but just I feel like it's The Rock doing it's not as funny.
Yeah, it felt excessive, and if this was a horror movie, this would have been the perfect amount of excessive.
Yeah.
Where like, let's say Jason was just like ripping a guy in half or whatever, but when The Rock does it, you're just like, jeez.
He wants to be a family-friendly hero.
And I guess that those are my positives.
I mean, my only real positive was Dr. Fate, and I guess if he counts as a positive, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
I was kind of expecting a disaster, and it wasn't, so that's a positive.
I agree. Just Dr. Fate, and then it wasn't as bad. I thought it was going to be a train wreck, but it was just more mind-numbingly dumb and boring. So
Yeah.
it's not as bad as Halloween Ends.
No,
I'll give it
it's...
Which that's hard to top.
So, going into the negatives, we are infamous for watching rock movies and laughing like maniacs. We saw Hobbs and Shaw together, we saw Fast 9, and those movies are comedies to us. We love them so much for all the wrong reasons, but we laughed a lot. And I was expecting to laugh a lot in this film. And I was very disappointed that I did not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to say anything else? Or?
No.
You're just looking
I
at
guess
me
there's
like
like nothing. They were trying to be, I guess, somewhat serious, and it just doesn't really work.
Yeah, I was expecting the typical rock
Yeah.
antics. And there's not too much of that. Yes, he has those dumb one-liners, and he always has that one eyebrow up, and
And like the thing kind of annoyed me too, where like he was learning things a little too quickly, like throwing it back at people's faces. It's like, all right, come on.
yeah, with the sarcasm.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
Dr.
like
Fate.
he was like it
Or,
felt like
or they're trying to like do the one-liner with the kid and like
I'd never seen Shazam, but that felt like something I would imagine in Shazam would like something belongs in Shazam.
I never saw Shazam, but from the people that have seen it, they said it's more like a kids movie, so it's more lighthearted and everything. But that, like you're saying, like that would fit there, like him and the kid having those. But when Black Adam is brutally murdering people, it's hard to find a place for him having these like jokes with the kid and like trying to find a one-liner and like, oh, he's a hero, and it's like, not really. Just a guy with an anger issue.
He's a murderer.
So the other thing that was kind of boring too is like there's really not stakes because he's so invincible. It's like, well,
Oh, it's like the Superman complex.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say the Superman problem, but
And
like,
Captain Marvel.
which one? But yeah, it's like he's clearly so invincible. It's like there's no.
Well, it's like there's obviously going to be a sequel to this, and who are they going to dig up for the sequel? What kind of villain?
I don't know,
Because
I
they
mean,
try
Superman.
to. Because the movie
He'll
was
play
very.
Cold Justice
no,
League this time.
I'm afraid that they're gonna basically reboot Batman vs Superman.
He'll fight the
Batman.
Flash.
Yeah.
Like there's some villain pulling the strings to basically force them to fight each other.
Is that when Darkseid comes up?
I don't know, but I'm just the fact that they forced in Superman there because.
Well, hold on. We haven't gotten to that yet.
But I'm afraid that's what they're gonna do for the sequel. But it's like, yeah, who else is he really gonna fight?
Like he's so powerful.
That seemed
and
like an
so
ultimate
invincible.
villain. Like that guy, you should have saved.
Yeah.
Or you could have you could have saved him for like the sequel, or maybe if they're doing 3 movies, save him for the final. Like that guy could actually hurt him.
Barely.
I had no idea what to expect for this film, so I honestly thought he was going to be fighting the JSA
That's what I thought
for
too.
the whole movie, and then I was kind of like, oh, what is this guy doing here?
Well, it kind of like comes out of nowhere too, because you don't really know what the Crown did, and then he dies. So I thought when he was put away, I
He
thought
like
that was
blew
actually
himself up with the crown.
I thought that was actually the end of the movie. Like, that did surprise me. I guess not in a good way.
Well,
So I was kind of hoping
he
it
was
was over.
imprisoned.
Yeah, he was horribly imprisoned. They like had him in suspended animation. That's terrible.
I was like, yes, it's over. And then, the guy comes back from the dead and ruins my little happiness I had watching the movie. Because it dragged on. It killed Dr. Fate.
They realistically should have ended it when they put him back.
I felt like he actually learned something. Hey, maybe I should
and
be
then
so reckless.
and then they can end it on the typical trope of the main characters and talking about they say a line of like, no, will we ever see him again? Yeah, when the world needs him, and then it just cuts.
Yeah, you hear like the Marvel music, like.
Yeah, like they should have ended it there, but the ending on that was just completely rushed and just complete nonsense.
So this doesn't really work for me too, because it feels like, again, like The Rock's Vanity Project, where it's like they have to want him back. He has to be the one that saves the day.
Yeah.
By himself, basically.
I was just bored through all of it.
I fell asleep. I told you.
I know you
guys.
did. But I was just bored. Like The Rock wasn't even really playing a character. He was just like
himself.
Yeah, but he was even like a more robotic and like stoic version of himself, which somehow was worse.
Yeah, I would say so.
Because you feel like he'd have a little more emotion for like, you don't feel the rage, you don't feel the sadness. It's just like him delivering like a robot was on set. He was too busy,
Yeah, they didn't even like
working out.
It was like he got the revenge on the guy that killed his family.
Like no remorse. It's just like nothing.
And then he comes
palace.
And then he comes back. So why does he still have rage? Like just brutally murdering people. He wasn't like a warrior or anything to like.
He was a slave.
His backstory kind of doesn't add up with what they were pushing for his character because like he avenged his family and then he got imprisoned and then he comes back and just starts brutally murdering all these people.
What
because
I don't understand is the main lady, and her name is slipping my mind.
Doesn't matter.
Let's just call her Lady.
Let's call her Laura Croft.
Native, or yeah, that's better. Say the native of the country, but
just say Laura Croft.
Laura Croft. She seems to know all the mythology, and I mean not even mythology. It's like not even like a myth. She knows all the history of the culture in this place.
Which is what was the name of
Kondak.
Kondak.
So she knew in the beginning what happened with the story and whatnot. And then she apparently had prior knowledge of what really happened. Do you remember that part where she says, okay, this is what happened, and then she all of a sudden just figures out what really happened?
I think because the JSA told her.
They told her.
Yeah, because she...
Did I stay for that?
You might have
you might because that's when they probably first showed up.
Yeah, because they're saying, you don't know, that's not who you
Yeah,
think
because
it is.
they're like, he's our champion. They're like, no. And then Hawk, then they explain to her like, yeah, no, that's not what actually happened. And then you find out at the end that's not entirely what happened.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, they explained to her like, yeah, he just showed up, he killed the king and blew up the palace.
Okay, that makes sense now. Because I remember when she was like talking to him, I was thinking like, how does she know all this? Like, I was like so confused. Like, why wouldn't she say this earlier? She knew. But now that makes sense.
And I also didn't get to of like why they were trying to detain her in the beginning, because remember like when they stopped the car, and then the guy you see on his wristwatch like detain, and it shows her face, and then she shows up. But it's like, I get if they're trying to detain her once she obtained the crown. Why are you trying to stop her? If anything, you would let her go find the crown.
Because it seems like she's the only one that knows where it is and how to do it.
Well, that guy was on the inside. Ishmael.
Yeah. If they really wanted to detain her, he could have at any point just said, yeah, she's with me. I'm like, she's in the backseat of the car.
Well, no, that kind of was their plan, though. That Ishmael was the...
Yeah, no, he wanted to lead them and have her get the crown for him until she knew to read the thing on the ground and Black Adam shows up.
If anything, you just wouldn't even be after her. Just let her go do it and then just show up when she gets it and then be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I never got that. You have to capture her in the temple. You can't wait until she gets out of the temple to get the crown. Bit contrived, but whatever.
It's
like Belloc. He waited till Indy got out of the temple.
Yeah, he pretty much had Indy do all the work for him. Then he taunted him and took it from him.
What do you say? If only you knew, if only you spoke their language.
Jovitos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's smarter writing, though.
Yeah,
Not whatever this is. Yeah. Well, the thing I didn't like, too, was how The Rock got the powers. His son had the powers originally. Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, Dad, you should get the powers. Like, why?
Because he couldn't defend his mom.
Okay, but, then just put her somewhere else.
The son can protect the mom.
Yeah. Just move the parents away. Like, is it that hard? I will say, it felt very contrived.
Because
I've
if
never
you
seen
give
this, I was like,
if
why?
you give the dad the powers, you have the same problem. The son then can't protect the mom.
Yeah.
And then he's out fighting.
And he's a kid. At least he's a grown man.
Yeah.
Big
Which they had to use CGI to shrink him
I bet
because
you
he's
The
so
Rock was
big.
really disappointed about that. Don't make me too skinny.
Yeah, he wanted to go the other route.
I'm not a toothpick.
We don't need CGI. Just hit me with more steroids.
He's like, maybe if you put like shrink wrap around my arms, they could shrink naturally or something for this shot. They're like, no, we'll just use CGI, Rock.
I saw in an interview when he was talking about his suit. He was saying that originally they wanted to, like, how they normally do suits, like, you know, they add stuff to it to make it look like bigger and stuff. And he said he like tried it on, and he was like, no, this looks like too stupid. Like, go skin tight. I was like,
Nice.
Yeah, it's not that it looks stupid. I feel like he's like, I want to show off my physique.
yeah.
Probably looks fine.
I know Pierce Brosnan definitely had that in his suit. And he wore it like the extra padding.
Yeah.
He's almost a 70-year-old man.
What does he care? Like, he's just there for the
He's
paycheck.
just sitting around holding a golden helmet. Like, what does he care?
Yeah. he probably never heard of any of these characters.
Yeah.
It was just like...
Well, Dr. Fate, yeah, sure, whatever. You're paying me? Alright, let's film this.
I get to show up on a green screen for 3 days? Okay, whatever.
You're paying me that much?
Yeah, he was...
Get the grandkids something nice for Christmas.
Yeah. He was like the only actor I actually enjoyed in this. Everyone else was just like either there or...
Yeah, so let's talk about Smasher Adam Smasher?
Adam Smasher.
Adam Smasher.
Oh.
He was... it feels like it was DC's attempt of a Spider-Man kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where he was just
The younger
being all
experience.
goofy and silly, and then...
With the bad CGI suit.
Like the Deadpool
Yeah,
mask.
the Deadpool mask.
Which looked worse.
Yeah. And then he had like that weird, awkward, like, romance. I'm using quotes here. Romance.
Yeah.
And I think I said to you, Daniel, I was like, oh, here we go. In the theater.
Yeah, because there's that one part, you and I both physically, like, like, actually were trying... Because, like, he said he's, like... Because it was when she read, like, the only way to death is life. They're reading the encryption on the crown, and it turns out that I guess they read it backwards. Or you can read it both ways if you flip it or not.
It's kind of contrived, but whatever.
Whatever.
Real quick. I was able to figure out quickly when he killed himself what that... Because he literally says, was it to death is life?
Yeah.
He literally says that
the only way to
as he
life is
dies.
death.
Yeah. And it took him like 20 minutes to figure that out, and I figured it out in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Anyway,
then they're like, well, what does it mean? And then it cuts to Adam Smash, and he's like, maybe it means life is short, and you gotta hold on to the things you love.
Oh, no, I thought you were talking about before when...
Oh, no.
Where they were talking... It was earlier, and they were talking about... They're like complimenting each other.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was like trying to one-up her compliment.
But I think this was a little cringer because he's like, you gotta hold on to the things you love and looks right at
Yeah,
her.
then Hawkman is like, alright, dude, simmer down.
Yeah, and then, because even Dr. Fate goes, that's deep. Like, very sarcastically, he's like, yeah, good job, kid.
I lied. There's one part I did like, because they're just so weird, is whenever Adam Smasher messed up, a Hawkman would be like, later, you and me.
You're gonna beat him.
It'd been funny if, like, later on in the movie, when they're back on the shuttle, just shows him, like, smacking him in the face.
Yeah, that would have been like a funny mid-credit scene.
No, not even, like, in, like, all the other characters are debriefing, and just, like, in another room, he's just, like, smacking him across the face.
Beating him with
He said it to him twice, and I was expecting a payoff. You do your classic, you build it up, even small moments, you build it up and you pay it off, and there's just a build-up. He said to him twice, you and me later.
Yeah.
Well, they have to cut that scene because the more scenes of The Rock.
Oh, that's right.
No one cares about the JSA.
Yeah.
But the only one that felt like this wasn't, like, Black Adam wasn't even, like, the main character.
Well, because he was barely a character, like...
Like, it didn't even feel like his own movie. I was watching it, and I'm just like, the mom...
And the son.
And the son and the JSA are, like, the two driving forces of this film, and Black Adam just got plopped in.
Well, because I think we were saying before, how he just feels so perfect. Like, he doesn't learn anything. He's basically just the invincible god who wants to help everybody and can do everything.
Yeah, what a scumbag. He built a statue of his son. He didn't even tell anyone that it wasn't him.
Well, that's the problem, because he doesn't have a character. Like, he's already perfect. Well, what does he need to do?
I mean, like, why is he brutally murdering all these people he doesn't know? Like,
he extracted his revenge on the palace.
Like,
he blew everything up.
It's not the wizards.
Yeah, when it actually reveals, like, the truth of the whole story after, you're like, This guy was a prick.
Yeah, he just killing people.
He's constantly flying through walls too. I'm like,
Yeah, he was just walking through walls. Like, I guess that's supposed to be funny. Like, where he's like, "Oh, I gotta go," just keeps destroying things.
yeah, like Dr. Fate's like, did you have walls? Did you have doors back then?
Yeah,
Don't do the accent, Craig. This wasn't good.
So
almost as bad as the
it's better
Rock.
than the movie.
Almost as bad as the Rock trying to speak that other language.
Well, that's how Brosnan talks.
Yeah, he's Irish.
That's just how he talks.
That's his accent.
So I was trying to do a very bad impersonation.
Oh. He says his accent.
Whatever. That's how you talk. You talk with everyone with an accent.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Don't be me
But
semantics. This
Adam
time.
I don't know
Smasher-
what this guy's doing.
realistically, they should have cut out Cyclone and Atom Smasher. They
Or just have one of them. You need all
no,
three.
I said cut out both because like
They really
there
did
was no
much.
purpose to them being in the movie. It should have just been Dr. Fate and Hawkman, and then the mom and the son, and Black Adam, and then the guy turns into basically like the Antichrist. Like there was
He
no
had a
other.
pentagram on his chest.
Yeah. There was like he summoned the armies of hell. Like, but there was no need for any of the other
It's like the
characters.
South Park movie.
Yeah, it was just. But like,
Especially if you combine them to one character, like just the guy that's kind of there to punch people. We don't need to like have the cringy dialogue. Just have the third guy
Yeah.
there.
Which leads into my next negative, the overuse of slow-mo. With the
Yeah.
amount
Yes.
of slow-mo in this movie, it felt like it made it feel dated.
I turned to you at one point and go, dude, what is with this slow?
Yeah, every time
every fight scene.
Cyclone would spin, it would always show her moving really slow. And I think the worst fight in the entire movie is when Hawkman is fighting Black Adam in the little kid's room. And it
Yeah.
was like so much slow-mo and the camera was like zooming in and out. I'm like, what is happening?
See, I don't know if this was meant to be like a rip on something, but like he kept like punching holes in like an Aquaman poster, Superman poster, the Batman poster.
Oh, I mean that clearly was, especially when he woke up. Remember out of that like his nightmare when they
Shoot
first
Superman, right?
hey
Or the
blast
Flash?
him in the face. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh no, not that one. He's like, oh, I need to get a new one. And I was like,
Yeah, I don't know, because I feel like maybe I'm looking too much into it, but I felt like maybe Diggs, the other people, like, yeah, I'd beat him, I'd beat you that easily.
This way, if he
And then
burns
he also-
Flash, and then the kid's like, I didn't want that Predator anyway.
Yeah, I'm supposed to take that one down a while ago.
it's not a matter if the kid didn't want him. Ezra Miller might want him. But but I mean also if it didn't drive home the point, Black Adam said no one can stop me.
Yeah.
I think he said like 3 or 4 times just to really.
He
Yes.
said that a lot. He said
The same powers that
Even-
Captain Marvel.
he said I'm
But
not a
he-
hero.
but
like
basically-
500 times.
But now it doesn't make sense with how they set it up, and it's not directly related to the movie, but it is because like The Rock was saying how like Black Adam would beat Superman because Superman's like doesn't technically like he can be weak to magic, but
That's not
but the way they set it up, and I was gonna say is with Black Adam, he's weak to the Eternium,
Tex-Mexium or something like that.
Tex-Mexium?
but the Eternium he's weak to that, so he's basically Superman. They're weak to their own like natural substance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you're literally just like a carbon copy of him.
But Superman's not weak to magic. It just have like
He doesn't have like a natural defense. Like he's not
Yeah.
invulnerable to it.
Yeah.
But if he found Eternium, he could just cut
You give it to Batman. He'll
Yeah.
make a Eternium spear and
and then hold it over. Why'd you say that name?
And with Dr. Fate too, they really like sidelined him because we were talking about this
like a
before
Doctor
this.
Strange
Oh,
problem.
it was
Yeah,
like,
it's
it
the
was like
same-
Vision in Infinity
Yeah, it's
War.
the Vision, the Thor, like anyone that's super strong and can literally like
level
do crazy
level a
things.
planet.
yeah. It's okay. What do we do with him? He's too powerful to keep around. Because realistically, like I don't know I don't know anything about Dr. Fate. This is the first time I ever heard of him.
Yeah.
I've seen him in some cartoons.
I don't know anything about his powers, but it looks like he could handle Black Adam himself.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
You know,
At least from from my very limited knowledge.
Yeah.
But even in the movie, like he put him like in an illusion. Like he had no idea where he was. Like you keep him in that illusion for like forever.
Yeah.
And he does it just so you get punched in the face.
Yeah.
but he just. What do we do with him?
Yeah, he definitely was wasted, and then especially because at the end, like he was able to hold that guy off, and he wasn't even trying to kill the guy. Sabat was the demon he became,
Whatever.
but he was just trying to stall him. And he was fighting him back pretty good. Like, imagine if he went all out. Like, he didn't go...
He let himself get killed, too.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
He was like, ooh.
Yeah, it was very weird because it seemed like he just wanted to die.
Just like how old he was. I
Yes,
remember the
finally.
first day of playing.
Yeah, and it's just like... I don't know. I feel like if you wanted to try to have those kind of emotions, at least have him go down wanting to live and put up a fight instead of him just being like, "Yeah, I'll hold you off long enough, and you know what? I'll just leave my chest open. You can punch right through me."
Yeah. Or you could have had him be more of a mentor to like Cyclone and Atom Smasher in the movie. To even then you could, because then not just for his character, but also then it gives their characters purpose in the movie. Like they're the next gen of the JSA. It was just like they're there and that's it. They're like these recruits we found off the street. They could have at least taken Dr. Fate, and if he's sidelined from the fighting, whatever, but he's training them, that would make more sense. You let Hawkman do his Hobbs and Shaw-esque, dick measuring with Black Adam, because that's what he was doing the whole movie. He's like, "Oh, you want to go again?" Like,
of course, The Rock was like,
You're
you're
not-
not standing a chance. It was, like that was like the second fight, was just him just getting like beating on Hawkman for
it was like
whatever reason.
parallels to, like Hobbs and Shaw, like how they like their egos were like so like.
Except one was the producer and one wasn't, so one was gonna win.
I think they both were producers in that film.
No, I'm saying like, at least for this one.
Oh, this one, yeah.
Yeah, he's not the producer, so he's not gonna get those extra punches in.
He's probably just happy to be in a movie.
Yeah.
That guy.
Because I was saying, I think part of the problem is like obviously The Rock, huge problem, but even with him in the story, like the JSA should have beaten him to kind of humble him, because he's so arrogant.
He's still
and
the same guy at the end of the movie, pretty much.
and he's so arrogant and perfect. Like it's like Superman. Like you can't just like in the Justice League, they just waited to get him back. It just doesn't really
Yeah,
feel like a
both
team.
Team form just.
Well, it was worse in the Whedon cut, because he literally just shows up and like throws around Steppenwolf.
Well, because I feel like if they beat him, maybe humbled him, then he learned, okay, maybe I work together.
Yeah,
There's
and-
good in the world.
Yeah,
I can maybe be
yeah.
a better person.
And when he gets beaten down, that's when like the kid and mom can motivate him. They could be his second family to push him through.
Yeah, very, very basic things. We're asking for a lot here,
Yeah.
and they can't even do that.
I was concerned in the beginning when Black Adam came back and the kids talking with him and stuff. I was like, are they trying to go for almost like a bit of a Terminator 2-esque?
Yeah.
I thought for a second, I was like, are they really gonna do that? No, like, I wouldn't have been shocked.
I mean, they did do it with the catchphrase thing.
Yeah.
He cries at the end when he dies.
It was like they didn't. It was like The Rock's character. They just didn't know what direction to like. They didn't know. They couldn't give him a definitive direction in the film. It's
well,
like
no, it was like just be The Rock.
Yeah,
because the director was the guy who did Jungle Cruise, which no one saw, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I looked it up because I was like,
Oh,
who even is
man.
this guy? The Rock probably told him, I'll let you direct this movie, and
yeah.
I call the shots.
If only they had Kevin Hart.
I thought they did. I saw a post online where Kevin Hart was in the movie, but
That's a lie.
he sadly wasn't. Or maybe he was.
There's
but,
two end credit scenes.
yeah, he was Adam Smasher Small.
We saw the one with Superman, where it's Amanda Waller pretty much saying,
There's a second one?
apparently, because on Wikipedia it said mid credits, and I think there's an end credits.
Is
So.
it Kevin Hart? Maybe that's where he was.
Yeah.
I just see a mid-credit scene.
Oh, okay, whatever. Maybe I lied. I don't know. It's pretty much just Amanda Waller saying, "You're going to stay here, and we're going to make sure you stay here in this area because you're a
Yeah.
threat and whatnot." And then he's like, "No one on Earth can stop me," or whatever.
No one on Earth.
Yeah, so I can call someone who isn't from this world, and then he blows up the drone,
Yeah.
and out from the smoke comes Henry Cavill.
Why are you whispering?
I'm not whispering.
Sounds like it.
Trying to be dramatic over there.
But yeah, and then Henry Cavill comes out, and
It's actually him this time.
Yeah, Black Adam with his original lip.
Yes.
Point that out.
Yes. And he has that Christopher Reeve.
Yeah,
The little,
he
kink or
actually
whatever in his hair.
looked happy.
Yeah. He didn't look miserable like when he was lugging a giant ship in the Arctic.
He just saved the people from burning
Oh,
buildings.
he's in
like, I
the
fucking
dead,
die.
and they're all like grasping at him. He's just looking like, "Please help."
Maybe he was getting touched.
Can I go home now?
Harvey Weinstein was in the crowd.
So was Kevin Spacey.
Oof.
Ezra Miller.
There's a different crowd. But the preschool was burning.
That crowd was too old for him. But
He's
anyway.
gonna go in the crowd that's for 20 years in prison.
Oh, God.
Allegedly.
But yeah, there was just, and then you had mentioned before, Colin, that the movie felt like it dragged on, and
Yeah,
it was just
very,
over 2 hours.
Yeah, probably without credits, it's probably like 110, something like that. I fell asleep, and I got some good sleep last night, so I wasn't tired prior to seeing this movie, and it put me to sleep.
Yes. I just, like, I agree with you. It just dragged on. It was like, the problem was it was just like, there was no balance. It was like either exposition
Or fighting.
yeah, or just overload on fighting. And there was nothing really in between that. There was no, like, character development. There was,
Well, they tried. It was just
Not
like
for The Rock.
they failed.
For
They're just nonsense.
everyone else, they kind of tried.
Yeah.
Like, Hawkman was like, okay, I can kind of accept you as who you are, but The Rock's like, I'm perfect, why should I change?
Yeah. But I thought it was... I did cringe when they did the that symbol thing.
Oh, the triangle?
Yeah.
I didn't really cringe. I mean, maybe at the end, yeah, a little bit.
Because that was the... I turned to you, like, because the... So, what's the place called?
Kondak.
Kondak.
Not Iraq.
Kondak.
Laos.
We fast forward 5,000 years, and it's being occupied by a bunch of mercenaries called Intergang. Sounds like a PS4 trolling group.
Intergang.
It's like on Red Dead Online. You can change your posse name.
Intergang.
What does that mean?
But they're being occupied by
Interpol,
them.
Maybe they're trying to go for something like that.
Like what, like the evil Interpol?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, so the people are being occupied.
That might actually be the inspiration. That's so stupid.
Yeah, right.
And they're trying to get the crown. There really isn't like motivation except like, so it's kind of like a Middle Eastern Wakanda. Like they have this very valuable resource there, except Wakanda wasn't occupied, but they're being occupied for it. And there's the crown there, yada yada yada. And the people aren't standing up to them.
Mm-hmm.
These are all regular people. They have some high tech. They just have guns.
Yeah.
And then you fast forward at the end.
Yes.
When the guy who becomes the demon, he literally summons the armies of hell, and then the kid does the triangle thing and unites the people, and the people are willing to stand up against the armies of hell.
Yes.
Where was this against just regular guys with guns? Like, I was just like, are you kidding me? Like,
They were inspired by their champion, The Rock.
it wasn't The
frog
Rock, it was the
champion.
kid. The kid inspired them.
They're
at the end.
fixed champions, like WWE.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like...
He would have been the champion if Warren Sapp was in front of him.
That's right.
That's right. But there just isn't too much for me. Like, this movie, like I said, is just boring and mind-numbingly dumb. Like, I don't hate this film.
It's
Like I thought I would.
to me, so like it felt like a early 2000s movie.
It felt dated.
It does. 'cause
Yeah.
Just the way they treat it, just The Rock. Like it feels when they do like a anti-hero movie.
Yeah.
And
Oh, real quick, because I don't really have much else to say about this film. It's more of like just whatever.
Yeah.
When Hawkman's ship was flying out, it was literally straight out of X2. Where like the
out of
corpse-
the mansion?
Yeah, the mansion open up and then the ship is like held under there.
Because I turned to you, I go, is that the X-Men's mansion?
Yeah,
the black
straight out of
one.
X2.
Yeah.
Like literally, like I think they actually copied the footage and just
Yeah.
placed it.
Also,
in.
there wasn't that scene with him in the jets. Like they're in the trailers. It looked like straight out of Iron Man, the first one, where he's flying and the jets come up next to him, and in the trailer it shows him like punch the wing out. Like,
Is that even in the movie?
no, it wasn't. That's what I was saying. Is like that was in the trailer.
I don't remember the trailer.
Because
to
you
be
wonder
honest.
maybe in the movie, because we were saying they had to cut stuff down, keep it PG-13. He probably like took the one guy and jammed him in the other guy's jet and burned him alive.
Yeah, he probably,
Puts him in like the jet stream. Like, "Rah!"
He probably grabbed
like
the
Top
guy.
Gun.
He has him by the arms, and he shoves his legs into the jet turbine and shreds it. And then he pulls him out, sees his little nub legs, and throws them.
Yeah. But yeah, that wasn't in it because I was like, when I saw that part of the trailer.
Because you probably watched it a couple hundred times.
I did. But I was just like, that is straight out of Iron Man. And then like him taking on the team, that was from Justice League. Yeah. They did pull a lot of, nothing in this was really original, I feel like, or like.
That's what I said. It feels just like dated.
Yeah, it's just.
It's not bringing anything really new.
And the CGI did not look good either.
Well, there's too much CGI. It was like a PS4 game.
It wasn't blended. Yeah, especially the.
Don't give too much credit.
PS2.
PS3. No, it was a PS3 game.
But yeah, it wasn't as bad as Steppenwolf in the Whedon cut.
The only thing it was missing was those like quick action or quick time buttons in the PlayStation.
Yeah.
They're missing those. Like, oh, you see the X for him to dodge the punch. Then triangle.
And then you don't press it, and like he dies a horrific death, like in Tomb Raider.
But yeah, no, they didn't blend any of the CGI well at all. Especially the guy at the end, the demon guy. Yeah, like his CGI looked bad. Like it was just full.
He actually looked like Satan in South Park, so just not as like big
or homosexual.
Yeah.
Very stern.
But
dopamine's low.
Yeah, especially because I was saying when I said they demuscled him for when his original form, like. But the thing is when he was in his normal form, like they couldn't match his face properly onto the guy the body double that they were using. It looked so bad.
That was actually The Rock. He lost 150 pounds.
Yeah, he stopped taking steroids for 2 days.
Yeah, and then he gained it all back. So he went back on the roids. He was eating bread.
But yeah, even that looked bad, and yeah, that's about it. And actually, I was confused with.
I bet you are.
So they make the point. They made the point that the son was the champion, right? And the whole thing was the king was trying to get his crown before the champion because then he could become the powerful version he was. He couldn't be stopped or whatever. So when the son's the champion, they said like he had victories or whatever, and then the king sent assassins to kill the mom, and the Rock couldn't save her. And then the son shows back up. So my question is, why didn't the king get the crown in that time if the son wasn't stopping the king?
And they had to build it because that's what the slaves were doing. They were
make the iron
unearthing pieces.
So that was in the meantime, but why didn't the son just overthrow the king?
I don't know.
The guy didn't have the crown.
Maybe he was trying to rile up the people because that's what he wanted. I don't know.
It's just stupid. Just take your power. This guy was a tyrant. Just you're a demigod.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And he was a kid after all. Like, what does he know? Just a stupid kid.
Well, that stupid kid got his mom killed.
And he died too, so it works its way out in the end.
Kind of like Halloween Ends.
Yeah.
But, that was the only thing I was confused about. But I didn't care enough too much to be like, whatever. Like, I'm kind of just like, can we move along?
Yeah.
Like,
see, I want to speak out against fan casting. Because this is why he got the role in the first place. Because people say, oh, he kind of looks like Black Adam. He kind of looks like Black Adam.
the picture and
like he kind of resembles Black Adam. But, to play a character requires more than just looking like the person. Because you can put on suits or makeup or wigs to help you look like somebody. So, I feel like people should stop fan casting because The Rock can't act.
Yeah, that's true.
Because you ever see a lot of people do fan casting? This guy looks like them. He should play them.
Yeah, he actually has hair.
I mean, there's a resemblance.
I can see it.
Okay, this was 2008 Rock. All right.
He still has his hair. I don't know. I don't like fan casting. Very rarely does it turn
I
out
think.
Yeah, and that was the pose he did at the end.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I remember because I noticed
I've
that
seen
too
this
because he was
picture
like
so many
really
times.
putting his like legs
Yeah,
in
he's,
specific
like,
spots.
spreading them. I was like, whoa.
Well, I've seen that picture so many times of Black Adam that I knew exactly what he was referring to.
I mean, with the hood and stuff, the hood can hide.
Hide his missing hair.
Well, you lose hair from the roids, but
But he doesn't take roids. That's not why he lost his hair.
All natural, baby.
oh, sorry.
I think the biggest problem is.
It's him.
Well, yes, he is a big problem.
He's not charismatic. He can't.
Not
like,
even
carry
that.
a
He is
movie.
a producer too. So he.
It's
has,
like Vin Diesel, yeah.
He has his disgusting steroid fingers on everything. Where someone could say, okay, maybe this is when The Rock gets incapacitated in the scene.
no.
He grabs the intern by like the neck, and when The Rock is recalling this, he'll say my muscles were huge and bulging on my shirt, and he'd be like, no, I never get incapacitated, I never get beaten down.
I don't lose to the JSA.
I don't lose to that loser Brosnan. He'd probably say.
I already lost to Vin Diesel.
Yeah,
but I did read something. Apparently, it was like, part of when him and Diesel were disputing on the cast. Apparently, part of it was like with fight scenes and stuff, and it was like, it was like a report that apparently like The Rock, when he lost to Diesel in the fight, like he didn't want to lose like on his back. He wanted to like lose on his knees, like to not like to show. He didn't want the audience to think of him like weaker and stuff. I was like, like how? I'm like if that
they're such losers. Like,
I'm
I
like,
don't care how much money you get.
Like
you're
how
still a
insecure
loser.
are you? It's a fictional character you're playing. I was like, and this is why like him and these so-called action stars, quote, I'm putting air quotes.
Yeah.
So I don't end up on TMZ, but.
Yeah, because it's really gone for us. Huh?
Yeah. People have online, I'm just saying.
We still got Peg in our pockets, huh?
Yeah. Peg,
he's watching to the window. Right
Peg,
now.
I recommend you watch Halloween Ends and this back to back. Enjoy yourself. But
kind of looks like a pumpkin.
he looks like Laurie Strode.
But to continue
my point of like these action heroes now, like what separates like enjoyable ones, like me personally, like Jackie Chan or like Arnold in his heyday, like they could struggle. They made their characters likable. Like even Arnold would like struggle with guys like half his size,
Yeah,
but
guys, realistically, he would just snap.
But he still understood you have to have your hero struggle to get the audience to like them. And like Jackie Chan, like, I like his fight choreography, his stunts are like second to none. But even then, like he always would struggle in his fights, and he had to be resourceful because he couldn't just overpower everyone. Or,
That's why Jackie Chan's fights were so great. Like he was very resourceful. Like, redirecting attacks and stuff, grabbing whatever he could find around.
Keep in mind he's fighting 15 people one time, but even still, like even when he would fight like the bad guy at the end, like he would still struggle with them and stuff. Like he had to overcome it. Like so when you have like The Rock and Vin Diesel, like that can't understand that it's writing a likable character. Like it's okay to struggle and lose on paper. Like this isn't real life. Like get out of your roided delusion.
You're
like
not betting on this.
Yeah.
You're not betting your house and your kid's future on this.
Yeah, get out of your roided delusion. If you want, it's okay. Like the audience will actually like it more if your hero struggles and they overcome it at the end. Not you just win everything by brute force. Like so, even like Dom Toretto is like one of the most unlikable characters because this guy who was a street racer, he almost beat a guy to death with a wrench.
Yeah.
Is now like taking on these international like secret agents and he's fighting them hand to hand.
Daniel is that he mumbles half the time and we don't know what he's saying.
Yeah,
no one does.
Yeah, that's what made like Steven Seagal so unlikable in his action movies. Was like one, he had a lot of off-screen.
There's
issues.
a lot of reasons,
but also like why someone like Jackie Chan was successful versus him more so. It was just that like Steven Seagal. But he never struggled with anyone. It was always like I'm the guy. I beat everyone. Yeah. There isn't a story or a movie there. It's just bad writing. Not to go on much of a tangent, but it does warrant the discussion.
Yeah, it's definitely like
that's what we call the vanity project.
Yeah, Vin Diesel and The Rock. They're just in their own world doing whatever they dream of, whatever dreams make them happy, and then they pitch it to a studio and like, listen, I can only get punched 5 times throughout this whole movie.
Does it make us a lot of money?
Well,
Okay, we don't care.
You told me, Craig, that like he hired his like sister or something like that.
Oh, I told you that.
Yeah, come on. I didn't say that.
Yeah, I looked it up.
Yeah, and
They would count the amount of punches they would take in a rehearsal fight,
and
which is just shameful.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. You're making a movie. Even if this was okay, I would understand this is WWE a little bit. I would still make fun of it.
He's even right. Like, doesn't Vince McMahon, or he used to write it? Or...
Yeah, whatever. Did you see... Okay, real quick. One of my coworkers showed Vince McMahon in WWE versus God, where there was a stage light shining in the middle.
What? What?
So Vince McMahon's like, doing that strut or whatever.
Yeah.
And on the opposite side of the arena, you see a spotlight fall down. And the spotlight slowly goes down the walkway into the arena. Look it up. It's called, like, Vince McMahon vs. God.
There's someone at the end, like, someone walk in and fight him, or what happens?
Just a spotlight.
Every time the spotlight comes over, he just gets struck down.
Could you imagine, like, he, like, dies? He gets brought back.
Yeah,
He keeps getting resurrected and struck down.
But it's nothing like that. Like, that's silly, that's whatever. These are movies that it seems like they take up so much time. It seems like they take up so much time and effort for such the minute things. Like, counting punches in stunt rehearsal will have absolutely zero impact on the film.
Actually, I take them. It's the opposite.
It's taking up time, if anything.
Yeah.
Well, no, I think it would help the movie if they stopped counting punches, because then you could have like Vin Diesel be vulnerable. And, like,
well, yeah, I'm
almost
saying
lose.
like it contributes absolutely nothing to the film in the sense
It's
that
detrimental.
it ruins it if anything, but it's not going to improve your product because you have these two roided up losers who are so devoid of charisma. I mean, The Rock has more charisma than Vin Diesel because we just don't know what he's saying half the time. But
It's a very low bar.
We just know he says family.
yes, we just know every mumble comes out like family. But you just have these people that can't really act, and they're the same guy in every movie. At least with Arnold, he would try to be different in each movie. In one movie, he's like a tough guy, like let's say in Last Action Hero. In the other one, Jingle All the Way, he's like a family guy.
Yeah.
There's no action in it, really.
Yeah, I mean, he beats up a bunch of people dressed as Santa.
But that's funny.
Yeah.
But it's diversity in
Yeah.
how you act. That's why they call it an actor. You're able to adapt to different characters and whatnot.
Yeah.
You just don't be the same guy like you're playing Skyrim or whatever.
Yeah.
But like let's say like they're action stars. Using big quotations here. Mm-hmm. Getting punched doesn't ruin your status as an action star. Like Arnold got hit, he got shot. I don't know, actually didn't die, but I was thinking of Predator. But still, he loses to the Predator.
He dies in End of Days.
Well, that's my point. Like, he's vulnerable.
But to the Predator, he had to outwit the alien because it was physically superior to him. Like
Jackie Chan gets
he's getting tossed around from the Predator. He didn't overpower him, and The Rock would have
Actually, a lot of action stars died in that movie.
Yeah.
Point is, like, you can be an action star.
And they were probably all roided up too.
Yeah. Predator is the most like testosterone, gun heavy movie.
Yeah, and they were getting wiped out quickly. They understand you sacrifice that for the sake of a good story, and good writing.
Even with all their strength, they couldn't bench press the way I did this one.
Yeah, it's relatability. No one can relate to some pompous 6'4" steroid bald man who counts his punches.
I'm not sure you're talking about The Rock or Vin Diesel.
Oh, I said 6'4". That's not Vin Diesel. But it's just like they think so highly of themselves. But at the end of the day, it's entertainment. You're trying to
you're making a B-level
trying to make
movie too.
At least I hope every movie they're trying to make something good. Well, that never happens, but there's an attempt. It just seems like The Rock is safe with doing what works.
I haven't safe. It's more of like his image. Like he's trying to preserve his image at all costs above making a good movie.
Yeah, because even look at Tom Cruise.
I was going to mention.
Yeah, if you want to put him at I guess for A-lister for action heroes in today's generation. Because even I didn't see that Mission Impossible. Was it 5?
Which one was that?
Was it Fallout?
Which was the last one?
Fallout.
Or Henry Cavill was in it, right?
Yeah.
The bathroom fight. Really good choreographed fight scene. The one guy beats up both him and Henry Cavill.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean, like Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise almost got killed in that.
Exactly. Yeah, like both him and Henry Cavill, who Henry Cavill's a big guy, lose to this one guy.
His arms up.
But this guy was like an actual, martial artist in real life and stuff. But the fight scene was done well and everything. But they almost both get killed by him.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, imagine if that was like The Rock or like Vin Diesel, like
he was 2-on-1. He like take them out.
And also to drive home that point too is like his character in Mission Impossible, Tom Cruise, was Ethan Hunt and Henry Cavill. They're both like government trained hand to hand guys, and they almost still die. Yeah. Like the fact that you have like Vin Diesel, who was a car mechanic, going hand to hand combat with like Jason Statham on a parking garage with sticks.
Or not even Jason Statham. When he's beating up goons. These are stunt people who have extensive training in actual martial arts. Yeah. And he's beating up those guys.
Yeah.
You know?
But his character can now go toe-to-toe with every government agent who is trained in ways that they could snap your neck.
They had that professional fighter in the sixth one.
Yeah, they know.
Ronda Rousey?
No, not Ronda Rousey. You know, the one that got fired from Disney.
Oh, the
Gia or Mia, whatever.
I think her name's Gina something.
Yeah, whatever.
Right, she was in Deadpool.
Sure, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, she was in
remember she was the muscle in Deadpool.
Yeah, she was in the sixth one. She's a professional fighter.
Yeah.
I bet you 9 times out of 10 she would destroy Vin Diesel in a fight. She would kill him, probably.
Yeah.
Because, not only because you can't even touch his shoulders or whatever, or you punch him in his beer gut, go down. But, it's... I mean, we could rip on these actors all day. But the point is, this is a big vanity project, and
it's tiresome.
It's tiresome. It's not relatable to anybody. He's so devoid of any kind of charisma. He puts himself literally on a pedestal in front of everybody.
He's flying around like taller than everyone's look up to him.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, so go back to the Tom Cruise point. All Tom Cruise talks about in his interviews is entertaining the audience. He doesn't talk about himself. He just talks about, I want to make a good movie, want to film great, real stunts. And that's it. Like, I don't really feel like he talks much about himself. It's always about the cast, the crew, and entertaining the audience above all else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's the other rockers, like all about me.
Yeah. But, like, from his action movies, or at least what I've seen, because I haven't, like, fully watched all the Mission Impossibles.
And Tom Cruise can act. I mean,
and the last Top Gun, which we reviewed, we said was a really well done movie. He doesn't seem to have that kind of an ego when it comes when he approaches his movies. Like, he really just focuses on the.
Well, he's also been like an actor for more than half his life. The Rock was a failed D tackle at Florida State or the
Miami,
the U. And
only because of Warren Sapp.
And he went. Oh yes, and he went to wrestling, and now he's kind of acting. And Tom Cruise also, he has been the same character in some movies, but at least he's more diverse. He can say,
"Show me the money."
Yeah, he can say lines convincingly.
Yeah,
he can do what you want, and he'll do a good job at it.
Wes Grossman.
Yes, but it's just The Rock. I don't like him. I think John Cena is a lot better because at least he seems willing to make fun of himself. He doesn't take it too seriously.
Yeah. Like The Rock making fun of himself is, this shirt's too tight.
Yeah, it's like
my coat circulation to my head.
Every woman likes you. Like, like that's not really.
Is that
See, that's funny with a guy like Will Ferrell, who's like out of shape. You know, just an average-looking guy. Like,
really ugly.
Like in the other guys, like all these inexplicably hot women like him.
It's
and
just like if Peg did this, right? And then they had all these women at him.
Well, that's just not believable.
Yeah, I think you might lose the audience for that.
But to round up our point, because we just went on a huge tangent about The Rock.
Well, no, I think it's an important point because it's why the movie wasn't that great. It's The Rock.
Well, there's a lot of reasons, but...
Well, I think a big reason is The Rock. Like, it all revolved around him, so if he didn't do well in the movie, it's gonna...
And again, that's why I'm like, of course he picks this character who's basically Superman, just the anti-Superman. It's like... Because this character doesn't require, like, actual acting, doesn't require any, like, character development. Like,
he's the same.
Or I shouldn't say any character development because he's going to learn how to protect people. But it's like any serious character development or any things like where it would warrant good acting. I should phrase it as that.
Yes.
Like,
well, just to bring back Tom Cruise again, you can see in Top Gun Maverick, he felt bad by the way he treated Goose's son. Yeah. Rooster, you felt emotion there, and The Rock, I'm just be stoic and
I thought
boring.
they would have honestly it would have been tiresome but it would have actually done something for his character, is they should have focused on his actual, like, rage and the stuff he felt because he lost his family. And they should have actually focused, they should have dove into his character of, like, dive into that backstory more of, like, he lost his family, how he's dealing with that anger, the grieving and stuff. It was just like, yeah, my family died. I was born into slavery. I killed the king. Now I'm here. It's like they rushed over that.
More that they could have done something like Spider-Man where he's responsible for his son's death. Instead, it's just kind of out of his hands.
It was so done poorly too. Like the moment he gets the powers, like people from arrows on the roof. Like it's like, notice people on your roof.
Because then maybe because it's his fault, he has to take out his anger on people, and then you could do something interesting with that, where you could.
That's why I feel like the JSA could help him if they beat him. He could like maybe get humbled. And they could kind of like take him under their rope.
Instead of saying
under their wing.
Instead of saying his powers are born out of anger, rage, show it.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's like we talk about this. It's like it's a big problem with these. I just want to say contemporary movies, not just like these action or certain movies. Show, don't tell. Like you don't have to do if you're not doing these big actions, you don't have to like do exposition for everything. Show it.
Yeah. So trying to say, well, he was angry at the guy, but like all we saw was like he walks into the temple and like blows it up.
He just self detonated.
Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to get from that. I guess he was angry, but like I don't know, just blowing yourself up like a like a terrorist. Like a nuke.
It's just like so they don't dive into any of that. They use it basically as bait for the trailer, and then you just get The Rock
playing himself,
just very robotically saying his lines, and then it's a bunch of CGI fighting. And
which movie did you just talk about?
Yeah, which one?
The Rock?
Was it Skyscraper? Was it Rampage? Was it Jungle Cruise? Was it Jumanji?
Was it
The Next Level?
I was thinking of the game plan. But they could have done that at least. I would have given them credit for at least trying, but then again, that would require The Rock to actually
let go of his ego.
Yeah.
I think we're so sick of The Rock, but I think if there's any chance of him being good in any movie, you have to be very hands off, and you have to have like
get smart.
Well, he was also like nowhere near as popular as he was.
Well, that's why, because he was a little more desperate. You have to actually play.
Did you ever see the game plan?
No, I have not.
It was actually like a wholesome movie.
I was talking.
Or Gridiron Gang.
I was talking. You finished?
Tension.
What was I saying?
There's no one in this room that can stop me.
You need a director. First off, if he's not a producer or executive producer, you need a director who is no nonsense, will not put up with any of his drama or anything.
Never gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have I don't think any director would. I don't even think any director would want to work with him unless he seems like he has like his cronies, his yes men.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because I'm pretty sure
he has.
Look at
Rawson. What's his name? The guy who did Skyscraper.
Dodson.
No, not Dodson. He has the guy.
He's him.
The guy who did Skyscraper also did Red Notice, so that's like one of his cronies. Where it's probably just like a yes guy.
The director.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, the Jungle Cruise director was.
He has that guy. I'm sure whoever directed the Jumanji movies, he has like
in his back pocket.
His WWE hands on him.
Yeah. But I was gonna say, well, because then what would happen is you would get like the Fast 10 drama, where the director like left or like wanting to leave.
No, he left.
He's leaving because there's differences between him and Vin Diesel. He probably was like, no, Vin, you actually have to act out this scene.
No, Vin, you can't take on 100 guys with a crowbar.
And say this is for family.
Yeah.
You can't drive your car back in time.
But to put it succinctly, no, Vin, you can't have your Dodge Charger be like a DeLorean and go back in time. To put it succinctly, though, Black Adam is an okay-ish dated movie. I didn't hate it.
Yeah.
It was more of, this is the state of the industry, and this is how things are, and...
But this is the beginning of Phase 1 for DC.
I reluctantly accepted that fate.
Yeah. Listen, it's watchable.
Yes.
It's mind-numbingly dumb. It's repetitive. Like you said, it's dated. You can get through it, but that's it.
You might stumble a bit, but you'll get through.
Like all pebbles, you'll stumble, but you'll stand.
Nothing erodes you permanently.
So would I recommend it?
No.
I think if you're easily manipulated by action and
It's
stimuli,
It's not even good action. Like,
if you like a lot of action, I guess I don't know.
just say no. You can say no.
Yeah,
I think that was another thing I think they ripped off was like the over the top destruction action. Like they definitely got that from like Man of Steel.
Probably just say, well, he's more destruction than Superman.
Yeah, even though they put him out in like some like beat up town like.
you wouldn't recommend it, right?
Of course not. Like I said, I guess we said it's not the worst thing in the world. It's watchable, but like, why do this to yourself? Just watch something else.
I agree.
Yeah. Watch Halloween Ends.
Any final thoughts?
It's the beginning of Phase 1,
Shut up.
15 years after Marvel.
Yep.
Watch Halloween Ends.
Okay. I don't have any other final thoughts, but certainly watchable, I would say.
That's probably our best critique of it.
It did subvert
It's
our
watchable.
expectations with that.
So this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. I'm Colin.
I'm Craig.
I'm Daniel.
And that is the episode.